Hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Kim. Today we are going to talking about a major ethics question. Is it ethical for government to use mass surveillance in names of national security? Even if we have done nothing wrong, internet and phone companies in Australia must keep our community data for 2 years, including what we connect, when we connect, and how long we talk. Although the government says it can protect us, many people question if we are actually protecting citizens or if we are treating everyone as a possible suspect. We will explore from 3 aspects: utilitarianism, deontology, and virtue ethics. Joins me are Feng
Hello everyone.
and Sihong.
Hello everyone.
Feng will discuss with utilitarianism and deontology, and then Sihong will discuss virtue ethics. So Feng, from your point of view, how do we judge whether mass surveillance is truly justified?
Thanks Kim. Let's begin with utilitarianism, which focus on outcome, how to maximize overall happiness and minimize harm. Those who support the retention of metadata believe that such data is crucial for modern investigation. If secrecy agents can quickly see who the suspect called or where a certain device was located at a certain time, it is possible to prevent terrorist attacks, combat organized crime, or find those responsible for online children sexual exploitation. From a utilitarian perspective, this sounds very appealing. If pursuing of all the metadata of everyone can save lives and reduce fear, then sacrificing some policy seems like an acceptable chain of power. 2021 points out that this argument for the greater good of majority is precisely the core defense mechanism of many surveillance policies. Therefore, from this perspective, it seems that we are using a small cost in individual privacy to obtain a large benefit in public safety and overall well-being.
It sounds great and shows that everyone benefits from less privacy and more safety. But Feng, are you saying that mass surveillance is just a good overview as long as it prevents some attacks, or does utilitarianism also make us consider other forms of harm such as power abuse, mistrust, or fear?
This issue is of great significance. Utilitarianism needs to consider long-term harms. Data retention may lead people to start self-censorship, undermine freedom of speech, reduce democratic participation, and damage public trust. At the same time, Eller Tinkai 2025 points out that large-scale surveillance in the big data environment has the risk of data leakage or abuse. Therefore, this raises question about whether the secrecy benefits outweigh the loss in terms of privacy and other aspects. The next is deontology, which focuses on right and obligation. Citizens have the right to be free from salvation without just cause. Large-scale surveillance treats everyone as potential suspect by default. From Kanting's perspective, it emphasizes that people should be valued as ends rather than means. Even if surveillance can help solve causes, its essence may still violence exist. So, in principle, large-scale surveillance could be wrong even if achieving certain results.
Thanks for powerful analysis. According to utilitarianism, mass surveillance can helpful in some aspects, but it can also has long-term effects that are hard to justify. From deontology, we are reminded that there are moral limits. Even if it looks effective, some treatment ways for citizens may be wrong in principle. However, there is still another perspective. Instead of asking what are the results or what are the rules, we can also ask, can national benefit from such a system and still be considered morally good when we use mass surveillance? What is your ideal, Sihong?
Thanks Kim. Building on what Feng has said, virtue ethics shift the focus from action and the rules to character. It asks not only what should we do, but also what kind of people and institution should we be. So we need to think about the virtues we want to in a good government. The first one is justice. A good government should treat people fairly and not target certain groups without cause. The second one is honesty. The government needs to be open about what data is collected and why. The third one is temperance. A government should use its power with self-restraint and not collect everything just because it can. And the last one I think is responsibility. A government needs to accept oversight and correct its mistakes. Render Schultz in 2017 argues that in the age of big data, We must ask whether states and companies are acting as virtuous agents from these three perspectives. Carefully, fair, and respectful in how they use data, not just whether they follow the law. Similarly, Dehanary et al. Author in 2023 points out that debates about data privacy and emerging surveillance technologies increasingly draw on utilitarianism, deontology, and virtue ethics to balance security with respect for individual. So, if surveillance laws are broad, rushed, or hard to change, virtue ethics tester would ask, does this look like a government acting with justice and courage or with fear and overreach? Well, more virtuous governments might say, we could collect more, but we choose not to, because we respect our citizens' dignity and freedom. Virtual ethics also looks at the character of citizens. In Australia and elsewhere, journalists, lawyers, academics, and human rights advocates have changed overly broad surveillance and called for stronger safeguards. The action shows civil courage and public responsibility is virtues that help keep democracy healthy. Overall, virtual ethics doesn't just ask whether metadata retention is legal or efficient. It challenges us to build a system where the character of both governments and the citizens matter as much as control and convenience. With that in mind, I will hand it back to Kim for our closing thought.
So, what we have learned in our podcast today, what are your ideas for?
From a utilitarian view, much violence may help prevent harm and make some people feel safer, but it can also certain fear, self-censorship, and mistrust, especially for those people who always watch but never accused of anything.
I think from a technologically perspective, blanket data retention may break important moral duties to respect privacy, to protect free expansion, and to treat citizens as more than just a potential suspects in a database.
And additionally, mass surveillance makes us consider our future personalities from value ethic perspective. It's calling a government to act with justice, honesty, and self-control, and ask citizens to show their courage and responsibility in defining their views. We all want to be safe, and safety itself is not bad. However, the ways we persuade security make difference. Thanks for joining us. Before we finish our podcast, we will leave you a question. How much are you personality willing to give up long-term of privacy if doing so would make your nation safer, and who do you trust to make that decision for you? I'm Kim, and here is our discussion for ethic mass surveillance in Australia. Thanks for listening.